This is the Caribbean, but we're not in Jamaica or Barbados. Time Team have come to the tiny island of Nevis because, amazingly, 200 years ago, the Caribbean produced more wealth than the whole of the rest of the British Empire put together, primarily because of sugar. And Nevis was covered in sugar plantations, and one of the wealthiest belonged to a man called Pinney, who lived right up there. And we're going to see if we can find out what remains of his long disused estate. But buried in the jungle up there aren't just the remains of the wealthy lifestyles of the big landowners. There are also traces of the thousands of slaves that they relied on. So Time Team have got just 6 days, that's 2 programmes, to try and come to grips with an island that's crammed full of archaeology. The island of Nevis in the northeastern Caribbean was one of the first English colonies, founded in 1628. By the late 1700s, there were as many as 70 sugar plantations on the island, and the plantation house here at Montravers was one of the grandest. It was owned by the Pinney family of Bristol between 1708 and 1808. And although the archive in Bristol contains thousands of documents relating to the running of the sugar plantation, no archaeological work has ever been done here.
Isn't it weird, just planted down there?
Bit of a stately home dropped down the jungle, isn't it?
The buildings have suffered hurricane damage several times and are also becoming very overgrown. But worst of all, there's the possibility that this site could soon be developed into a hotel and leisure facility. Bristol historian David Small has invited Time Team to see how much more can be discovered before the site is completely lost. David, I know you've been here before, but are you absolutely certain this is the right road?
This is the right road up to the plantation house and would have been probably the main working road on the plantation.
Surely it wouldn't have been as rutted like this originally.
No, I think it would have been protected by cobblestones.
It's amazing the way the jungle has got thick, isn't it?
No, the bush is incredible. I mean, it's grown fantastically in the 6 weeks since I was last here.
I think it might give us a few problems, don't you? Starting work at 7 each morning means we'll get a lot done before the real heat of the day sets in. We've started clearing and have a team of experienced cutters bravely working alongside several rather shocked diggers who somehow didn't quite picture working in the Caribbean to be like this.
Oh, you got it, okay.
David was saying that we need to know more about actually what the layout of the buildings was. How are we going to do that?
I think that's right. Well, we've started clearing and, you know, we'll do some survey work on the buildings. That's the obvious thing to do with a site we haven't looked at before like this.
Where? We can't do the whole thing straight away.
Well, no, but we've actually started at the far end here, clearing, cutting back over there.
Doesn't look like you've done anything.
No, well, it's behind those bushes there. There's a huge amount of pottery, glass, bottles, all sorts of stuff. I guess it's a midden or a dump coming out from the kitchen area. And so we thought we'd get cracking on that straight away because that's going to give us a very good picture of the level of luxury and the level of contact of the people living here. Because it looks as if it's all European, English pottery that's coming in. And that'll tell us a lot about the standard of living. Come and have a look.
Mick the dig hasn't moved all the time we've been talking.
He's conserving his energy. Here we are, look.
Oh,
Hive of activity.
Hello.
Hi there. God, blimey, you've got loads of stuff already.
They had a pretty good life, didn't they, Phil? We're coming to the
It was
conclusion.
one hell of a party. Yeah.
But this is a nice bit. Phil found this. It's,
Yeah.
we've got a
Look
stamp
at that,
on
it's
the bottom
stamped. It's stamped. You go on.
Oh, Bristol.
You see? See? Straight away.
Glassworks.
Well, there was loads of glass made in Bristol. I mean, it was a big
okay.
industry in the town.
Glassworks,
So.
Bristol, look.
I mean, immediately we're getting a good and a good documented contact with Bristol.
There's also this. You see what they were drinking? Isn't that lovely?
That
What
should
they
be
were drinking
dateable
out
with
of.
facets like that on it.
Presumably, if this is a rubbish tip, then the deeper we dig, the earlier we'll go. What's the earliest you reckon we'll get to?
Well, the documents tell us that we can probably go back on this site to 1680 at least, and maybe before that.
Well, that's an amazing amount for the start, though, isn't it? So it can only get better.
We should get an accurate date for these finds when our pottery specialist arrives tomorrow. But whatever the date, it's amazing to see that so many of the finds are English, brought here over 4,000 miles on a ship that would have taken 3 months to get here. Some finds, however, are definitely Nevisian.
He looks a bit unsteady on his pins, doesn't he?
I've just sat on him and put it down.
What we don't know yet is if any of the finds relate to John Prater Pinney, who inherited this plantation in 1764. John Prater Pinney was an obsessive record keeper, and literally thousands of documents relating to the plantation at Montravers are kept in Bristol University Library back in England. Our historian Robin Bush volunteered to stay in England, close to the Pinney papers and the telephone. Hello, Robin.
Hello.
It's Tony on Nevis.
Oh, don't tell me. You want me to fly out right now?
No, you'd hate it here.
The weather's lousy. It's raining at the moment. Yeah, I've got my coat on.
You're very consoling.
We're excavating a kind of rubbish tip.
Oh, great.
And we found lots of glassware. A lot of it looks pretty swanky to me. Have you got any information on the kind of thing that Pinney was shipping out?
Well, the wonderful thing is that although initially he only goes out in 1764, ostensibly for a brief visit, the next year he writes back to one of his friends, Thomas Pouncey, asking him to send out a
Vast list of items from his house in Bristol.
What sort of stuff did he ask to be sent out?
well, a lot of it is indeed quite high status. You know, wine glasses, porcelain decanters with stoppers, for instance, but also the necessities, things like bed linen, a carving knife and fork he mentions, and a brass lock for a door, padlocks. He's worried clearly about security, and of course all this careful attention to detail in bringing a little bit of Bristol out to Nevis and deciding to stay there and superintend the place himself does eventually pay off, because by 1783 he's amassed an incredible fortune of £70,000, which, if you translate that into modern money, is something like 3 to 4 million.
Not only do the documents contain lists of the items Pinney shipped from his home in England, but there are also cost accounts, like this one from 1783, detailing the kinds of things Pinney was buying.
Here's the big item of expenditure. Always go for the alcohol, eh? 1st of June, 1783, Joseph Gill for 1 pipe Madeira wine, £100.
How much was a pipe?
Oh, gosh. I think it's 2 hogsheads. Just over 100 gallons. It would take Pinney and his friends, even on Nevis and with the hot weather, an awful long time to glug that amount down, I reckon.
In addition to finding out more about life at the plantation house, we'd also like to know more about the areas where the slaves would have worked processing the sugarcane. With this in mind, our surveyor Stuart Ainsworth and local historian David Rollinson have been given the job of searching the jungle for lost archaeology.
Need a bit of renovation, isn't it?
Their first stop is here at Charloes, a site that we know Pinney used to crush and boil sugarcane. The trouble is that what survives here today relates to the period after Pinney, when steam engines were used to crush cane.
So where would the mill be in relation to this then, David?
It would have been
What we'd like to find is one of the animal-driven sugar mills which were common on the island in Pinney's day, but the odds are against us here.
I can't see me being able to penetrate that. I mean, that looks a bit of a dead duck to start with.
a little daunting, isn't it?
David Rollinson believes we've a better chance of finding an animal mill on a plantation that bordered Pinney's estate.
This is where we were, at Shardlows, or Pinney's estate. Here's Montravers, and then almost at the same elevation, just the other side of the ravine, this is Stewart's. That's what we're interested in.
I see, right. Now, show me this map that you were telling me about.
Okay. Here's the map.
That's a pretty smart piece of cartography, isn't it? What date is it?
Early 1800s, I would imagine.
Right.
This is Stewart's estate. This is the house, and there are remains of the house, so we know where that is.
Right.
We can identify that. You see the road that comes up to the east. This is the works, and this is the animal mill.
So how do you know this is an animal mill of the same period as the early Pinneys?
I think several reasons. One, you can see the illustration that it has this little horse whim shape with a little roof on with the uprights.
Yeah.
Also, this estate was abandoned quite a long time before the steam engine was putting down at Clark's estate.
Oh, I see.
So
right.
it would have been a very early mill.
Right.
How good are you at chains?
I'm not that old.
Okay.
If the map's accurate, it appears all we need to do is to get our measurements right to have a chance of finding the animal mill.
If we can measure up that track,
Yes.
we should be able to find that turning and get us in the right part of the
That's
road,
right.
shouldn't
At Mount Travers, finds are still turning up thick and fast in Trench 1.
Oh, lovely. Oh, wait a minute, that probably...
And we've also started clearing another area inside one of the ruins. But all of a sudden, work has ground to a halt.
Oh, look at him.
That is a big one. That's what we call a donkey spider.
Is he poisonous?
This one? No.
Then why are you treating him with so much respect?
Well, just in case.
Going. Yeah, but he'll have but they hang in the trees then, look, Mick.
Is
that right? Yeah, they hang in the tree and drop on you.
Once Phil's happy that the spider's moved on, the plan is to open a small trench here to find some dating evidence for this building, which we think is one of the earliest on the site and where John Prater Pinney would have lived when he arrived here from Bristol in 1764. And do we know that that's what it looked like?
We have a photograph from the 1920s that gives us an idea of what the building looked like. And we know of a local Nevisian, Albert Powell, who used to come up here as a child, and he can describe the inside of the building. And the inside of the building corresponds with inventories that we have from 1783 and 1794. So pretty much.
It's hard to really believe when you come up to somewhere as jungly and deserted as this, that people actually live lives. It's a shock when you see a photo like that somehow, isn't it? Yeah. What's this big building here?
That was the house, probably, of the family that came after the Pinneys, the Huggins family.
So this whole massive thing is sort of a new extension?
Yes.
Why can't that be a Pinney building or anything earlier?
Well, I think there's a complete absence of any information about a building like that in the Pinney papers. And indeed, when Pinney came here in the 1760s, he said that all the buildings were wooden. So
right. Is this Pinney? That's not wooden, is it?
That's a Pinney building, and we know quite a lot about that.
What is it?
It's called a counting house, and we know that he had that built to store his papers, and he says to preserve them from wind and fire. I mean, presumably from hurricanes.
It looks a bit artistic, just as a functional place to store things, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah, well, yes, but I mean, that's if he's worried about loss of documents, and clearly he was obsessed with documentation, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So, you know, he wanted to preserve those at all costs,
Yes.
and you build something that's basically like a fireproof building.
Apparently, Pinney buried some papers under the cellar of the counting house when he was worried about the island being captured by the French.
The Pinneys underneath the counting house, which is this.
Is this the counting house?
This is
going out of the counting house.
This is the counting house. So I wonder if this is the cellar. But have you seen what's in the back of it? You shine the torch over on the back wall, look.
Yeah, what's that?
I think it's some sort of ant's nest or wasp's nest or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to ask David for more details.
Okay,
we'll
then.
draw straws for who's going to risk it.
It's hard to imagine with all the trees around today, but Pinney could see the entire 300-acre estate from the plantation house at Mount Travers. He'd also have been able to see the Stuart plantation house somewhere across here, which is where David Rollinson, Stuart and expert cutter Charlie Woodley are making for in search of an 18th century animal mill. Sadly, the building of a hotel and golf course have wiped away a lot of plantation archaeology, but fortunately, the building programme hasn't reached the site of the animal mill as yet. But the golf buggy can only go so far.
Oh, so that's it, is it?
This is the house, Stuart's house, and the road runs just to the south of us, to the left of us.
Well, what we need to do now is get into the centre of the house, because that's the only point we've got on the map that we're working from. Charlie, can you take that tape through to Dave on that line?
Stuart spent 2 years in the Caribbean mapping sugar plantations, and he's confident that if the map measurements are accurate, we should be able to follow the old road and get into the right area to find the animal mill.
Tony, have a look at some of this. Just got that little toothbrush. Something like that.
Well, Phil and Jenny needed a toothbrush.
It's got no bristles in
It's
it,
a bit
does
worn,
it?
isn't it? I'll tell you what, Mick, this will appeal to you.
Oh, off a wine bottle. That's
But
lovely.
you could even
isn't
see
it?
what the wine was.
St Julian Medoc. Look at that. Yeah, good Bordeaux.
I'm used to some wine, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's a nice wine, isn't it? It says
Yeah.
something. I mean, it's really interesting. It ties in with the feeling we're getting from this trench at the moment. Everything that's coming out of it is really nice glass,
Yeah.
nice wine, nice dishes like this one seems beautiful, but with the bird on it and everything.
Yeah.
It's not a kitchen midden. There's no food refuse. There's no bone.
No.
It's like it's a rubbish tip with a broken sort of posh houseware.
If it's not a kitchen midden, what is it? That's...
It just seems it's absolutely packed. Every spadeful you get out is 50% broken glass, broken china.
Right.
It's almost as if they were throwing all their broken china, all their broken glass in one particular place, and I don't know why.
Oh, so this is
200.
200. This is where we ought to find the turning.
You know, there's no sign of the T-junction, but we're
Steaming
pretty
up
accurate.
there, mate. Well, I reckon with the error from the map, the error in our taping, we're probably going to be within about 20, 30 metres.
Yep.
I think the only thing we can do now is sort of fan out in a search pattern at right angles to this road,
Yep.
about 10 metres apart.
Yep.
So Charlie, would you take the lower end? I'll take the middle, and if Dave takes the upper
Okay, so
slope.
I'll pace it out.
Okay.
Looking for archaeology in these conditions is far from easy. But if we're going to find the remnants of the animal mill today, then it's got to be soon, because already the light's beginning to go. Mick the Dig, however, is already working in the dark. His Caribbean experience has taken a turn for the worst, because he's drawn the short straw and gets to dig under the counting house. We've got all this fantastic stuff, although we don't know how old it is yet. Understandably, David Small's excited at the prospect of what else we might find. He's spent a lot of time studying the Pinney papers back in Bristol and feels he's got to know John Prater Pinney quite well.
What sort of man was he?
He was an obsessive keeper of documents. He was generally a better plantation owner with his slaves. He treated them more kindly. Spent his time saying that they ought to be treated with humanity tempered with justice. But on the other hand, he did flog his slaves on occasion, but not when there were visitors, and not in front of his wife either.
Do you like him?
Yes, I think I do, really. But what you have is a dichotomy here. He's, on the one hand, he is a slave owner, and on the other hand, he's trying to treat them with some humanity, at least.
I think I found it.
Where are you?
Just to the left of you.
Right, brilliant. I'll be up. Charlie!
Hello.
David's got something.
Okay,
Up you come.
Coming up.
Oh, there you are. Oh, getting too hot for this. What you got there?
How about that?
Oh,
Beautiful wall.
Brilliant.
That
That
great?
looks like a good building wall, doesn't it?
Yep.
Let's have a look a bit further in, shall we? Oh, yeah. Getting better, David. Come and look at this. Looks like a whole series of structures.
Yep.
Right-angled wall
Yep,
up here.
you found it. We found
There's
it.
no doubt. We're definitely in the right place.
Yep.
Well, Charlie.
This is the factory here. The animal mill is on this raised platform at the back.
It'd be higher up than,
Yep.
than what we've got
So
here.
when the cane was crushed, it would flow by gravity down here into the
Right.
boiling kettle.
Hello, Stuart, it's Tony. What are you saying?
Hello, Tony. You were pleased to know we found the mill over at Stuart.
Oh, excellent. What's it look like?
It's big wall structures. It looks like we might have a mill, an animal mill, and a boiling house, and all sorts of structures at the moment. We'll have to bail out 'cause it's getting dark at the moment, Tony.
OK, presumably we start work on that tomorrow then.
You try and stop me.
So that's fantastic.
That's
we'll
great.
start clearing over there.
Yeah.
And then we've got those finds to date over there.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, there's a slave jail somewhere in this area that we were going to
Yes,
look at.
there's some evidence in the documents that Pinney had a jail, and it may be around in this area. So
Great. Well, join us and our new friends. This one was found in Pinney's counting house, and we've called him Pinney.
28 before the hour, and that's right, you're in tune to the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio. My name is Scott G, hanging around for the morning. We want to take this opportunity to say good morning to the Time team. They're visiting us here from England. They're here digging up and looking into the history of the sugar plantation on the island. What we want to do is keep their Caribbean spirit alive and give you a little Caribbean flavor. Here it comes.
Day 2 in the Caribbean. The big news today is that David Barker's arrived from Stoke-on-Trent, who hopefully is going to be able to identify for us what all these hundreds of different finds that we've got actually are. David, all this stuff seems to me to be just like willow pattern. But I know you've only just got here, but what's your first impression of what it is?
Well, it looks like willow pattern simply because it's blueprinted. Blue suggests to us willow pattern, but in fact there are a number of very different designs here. Chinese type designs, there are some very good quality European type designs, these ruins here. Whole range of different patterns, but...
Do you think it's made in England?
Oh, it's English, it's definitely English. Very probably Staffordshire, a lot of this.
We were hoping that it was 18th century from around the time of Pinney, is it?
Not yet. No,
Not yet. It will be in another 100 years.
Well, we're only looking at the tip of the iceberg here. This is a tiny fraction of what we've got. We've got buckets of this stuff that hasn't been even washed yet. So it may be a question as we've gone deeper down, there may be earlier stuff underneath there.
But it's all of a date, which is interesting, isn't
Yeah.
it? You're saying
Yeah, my first impression is that most of this stuff was made around about 1840.
Oh, so that would be the Huggins family who came in after the Pinneys, then?
Now, exactly when it went into the ground is another matter altogether, but made around 1840.
So we haven't any pottery so far from the 1700s when Pinney lived here. However, we've now revealed a rather nice cellar floor here in what we think was Pinney's house, and we're hoping to find earlier finds beneath it. When John Prater Pinney inherited this plantation in 1764, he was initially shocked at the sight of slavery and wrote,
Since my arrival, I've purchased 9 Negro slaves at St. Kitts, and can assure you I was shocked at the first appearance of human flesh exposed to sale. But surely God ordained them for the use and benefit of us. Otherwise his divine will would have been made manifest by some particular sign or token.
The documents contain some references to the 100 or so African slaves who worked on Pinney's plantation, but very little is known about their lives. Yesterday, we discovered the site of an early sugar mill, which, once it's cleared, should give us a better idea of the kind of place the slaves worked in. But today, David Small has set Stuart his most difficult challenge yet, to find the location of the slave village on the Montravers estate.
I mean, we have a letter in the Pinney papers that was an instruction from John Pinney to his manager, James Williams, in 1794, and it asks him to plant a great many lemon and lime trees at the Negro houses as a fence against Ward's line down to Scarborough's.
Right.
So that gives us some understanding of where the slave housing might be.
Right, do you know
Only one map of the Montravers estate has survived, and although it relates to a period 100 years after Pinney, it does show the property boundary between Ward's plantation and Montravers.
Is that the road that the slaves would likely to have come to the estate on?
That's quite possible. So somewhere in this area.
Somewhere between Wards and Montravers.
Right.
Well, good luck is all I can say, because this is how the landscape around Montravers looks today. Somewhere under here are the old roads and property boundaries that Stuart will need to find to locate the slave village. But Phil's got the best job today. He's taken the ferry across to the neighbouring island, St. Kitts, to cut down some sugar cane so that he can have a go at making sugar. Sugarcane isn't grown commercially on Nevis anymore, but in Pinney's time, all the fields at Montravers would have looked like this.
And this is it?
Yes, here we have a nice field of cane.
How long's this been growing then?
Well, this has been growing for just about 12 months.
About 12 months. This is the sort of stuff that Pinney would have grown on his estate in Nevis?
Similar stuff.
How do we actually harvest the stuff?
Now, let me give you a hand here.
Right.
We take the top off like this.
Now that is
cut off.
a very efficient tool.
That's right, very efficient tool there. And
clear it away at the bottom.
With this beak we can,
I see,
we can
right.
clear the trash out. And then you get to cutting the cane as low down to the root as possible.
And that's it?
Yeah, that's it there.
Do you reckon I could do that?
Yes, I'll give you a try now.
We want to clear away some of that at the bottom, do we?
Yes.
Right. And then we trim down the side.
Yes, like that, yeah.
Like that.
That's
And then
right.
chop the end off.
And then chop the top right off, yes.
Yeah, it's a good tool, isn't
It's
it,
very
eh?
sharp. It's
That
very
is a
sharp.
good tool.
Yeah, very sharp.
And then we get down to the bottom. Chop that bit off. Get down to the bottom and...
Yeah, there you are.
You see?
Yes, you're doing it right.
Now then,
Yeah.
I mean, how much do you reckon a good sugarcane cutter could cut in a day?
A very good cutter could do about 5 or 6 tons per day.
6 tons?
Yes, but it's expected of each cutter to cut at least 3 tons per day.
That's a lot of hard work.
Over on Nevis, David Barker is getting the guided tour of our trenches.
Right, so this is where we started with this, what we thought was a midden, and this is the material you've seen that you reckon was all about 1840. Is there any change in that, Carenza?
No, not really. We're going on down. We can see the layer we were getting all the finds from. You can see it showing a section here, obviously stuffed with glass and pottery here. But we've gone down below that now, and you can see this area below it is there's virtually nothing at all. Yeah. We think we're into redeposited natural here. It seems to be. It's just making up the ground into a level terrace behind.
So you've got another one of these huge gate spiders coming out. Look, see? This is what they like, look, David. See the size of them.
Victor is currently working on a sketch of Montravers as it was in the 1920s. This is possible because we have a visitor to the site today who remembers living here when he was 10 years old.
On this side here.
How's it going, Victor?
One on that side.
Yes, one on this side.
We were doing some very quick revisions here.
And then on the other side, there used to be 2 windows, the same as in front. The same.
Right.
I used to sleep by the other window over there.
Where did you sleep, Albert?
Upstairs here.
So where's that here?
You see that building, that chimney?
Yeah.
The staff used to live up there. There were 4 people.
And did you have your own room?
Oh no, there was one big room. I used to sleep on the floor. The elder people sleeps on the bed. There was one big bed. And the cooks and my aunt and some other person slept on the bed. But being a boy, I had to sleep on the floor.
This building here that we call the counting house,
Yes.
was that a counting house?
No, that was a kitchen. That's where all the goodies, all the food used to be prepared.
And who lived here?
This Mr. and Mrs. Mills used to live in here.
And this was what, a two-floor?
Two floors.
What was it like in front of the house?
In
Where we are now?
Where we are now.
Yeah.
Well, this way, from the gate coming in here, it was all lawn, cut grass, low. You see, not like what you see here now.
That's
nice,
right.
flat grass. And then the entrance, you can still see some of the entrance there where the steps.
What sort of house was it? I mean, was it one of the better houses in
This was the house in Nevis. It was the house. It was the finest great house on the island. I don't think you'll find another great house on Nevis to compare with Montravers.
The information Albert can give us will be very helpful because some of the buildings wouldn't have changed much since Pinney was last here in the 1790s. Happily, Albert's ready to recall every detail and equally pleased to explain why.
I do not know how much longer I have here. I'm 85 years of age, and perhaps when I come back next time, I might not be here. And you would say to yourself, well, I'm sorry, he is gone because there's no one to go to get these information.
We can't waste that opportunity.
So you can't waste that opportunity.
Grill him, Victor.
You have to...
Albert should also be able to help Stuart find an old road he's looking for at the back of Montravers, which could lead to the slave village.
It goes right through. But you see, it's such a dense jungle. You have to hack your way.
Oh, we can do hacking. We can do hacking.
I tell you, have a lot of hacking to do.
I thought you were looking for the slave jail over there, not down here. So...
This photo, taken in the early 1900s, is of a building thought to be a slave jail. This is our only clue to its location, but is it the same one that Pinney mentions building in the documents?
You know, Pippa, as far as I can see, the only reason that we know about this jail on the Pinney land is a single reference in this letter that he's writing to his plantation manager, Thomas Weeks. And even then, he mentions it only in passing. He's got infuriated by the way that Weeks has paid out in Nevis £112, 13 shillings for window bars for the jail and some of his other buildings, whereas he reckons he could have got the same bars in Bristol for £26, 3 shillings, and so he's almost 70 quid up the spout in money that he reckons has been wasted.
When was that?
That's 1792. The only infuriating thing is it doesn't give you any clue as to where this jail was.
Carenza has started looking for the slave jail and so far has found something which looks more like a retaining garden wall.
I thought he was supposed to be kind to his slaves.
He was supposed to be kind to his slaves, and generally he was kinder than others.
For the standards of his time.
But he did have a jail. The other person who might have built the jail was the subsequent owner, who was Huggins.
Sounds
Now, Huggins was much more like a man who would have locked up his very nasty piece of work. Well known for flogging his slaves. When he bought the plantation off Pinney, they started to rebel, and he took 20 of the slaves into a market in Charleston and he flogged them. One woman got 291 lashes.
That would flay you alive, wouldn't it?
She died subsequently, but he was put on trial in 1810 on a charge of cruelty, and the jury, which was mostly made up of white planters on the island, slave owners, acquitted him.
That's what you'd expect, yeah.
2 miles away on St Kitts, Phil's collected enough cane for his sugar-making experiment.
So your guys will carry twice as much as this?
Yes, they would.
And they just carry it in their arms like this?
Yes, they would. Yes.
I take my hat off to them. I can't compete with that. I've got quite enough here.
What Phil needs now is a lift to the old Hamilton plantation, where he's been told he'll find someone who can help him extract the sugar juice from the cane.
Lord, what's in there? Monkeys. Good, mate. Are you Lenroy?
Yes.
Pleased to meet you. Look, is this right? You've got a cane crusher?
Yes, it's just over there on the left.
These days, all the sugar cane grown on St Kitts is processed at one central factory. But this domestic cane crusher is enough to give Phil an idea of how cane was crushed on Pinney's estate.
How does it work?
Oh, this is the wheel, the handle, the turn.
And then where does the cane go in?
The cane would go in at the front here.
It goes in there and it literally crushed between these rollers.
These...
Oh, now that... Good Lord. Good God!
Keep going.
But I just look at I'm looking at the juice. It's just oozing. It's gushing out. Well, that's the jug nearly full. What are we going to do with all this rubbish?
Oh, this was used for fuel. They used to dry it.
Yeah.
And that's what they boil the sugar cane with.
Wow. I mean, nothing went to waste then.
Nothing went to waste.
On the early plantations, the rollers used to crush cane were driven by oxen. Yesterday, we found the location of one of these animal mills, and several people have been working hard to clear back the overgrowth so we can see the archaeology.
Mick?
Yeah?
It's a right old mess here, isn't it?
No, it's very good. It's very exciting. Lots of good earthworks and mounds.
What have you got?
Well, there's all sorts of things under here of a sugar factory. There's a big platform at the top there, and there's another platform here, and there's another one below with a building attached to it.
I can't make head or tail of it.
Come and look at the reconstruction, because it'll make more sense. If David, if you talk us through what we've got here.
What we've got here is, in the factory, are really two processes. One, the mill, The raised portion, which is over to the left, the highest point.
And that's this bit over there?
That's, no, to the left of it.
Yeah,
You can see the raised platform.
Where Carolyn's looking now?
Yes. And then at the side of it is the boiling house. The process at the mill, you can see that the rollers are here. The sugar cane was put in between the rollers. The juice was squeezed out and it went down and ran into the boiling house. And in the boiling house, the juice went into a series of big cast iron coppers. You know, there's one up at Montravers, that big...
Right. Yes.
Yeah. They were set in a row, built into like a masonry flue. Run the juice into the first one at the end, a fire underneath, and we found the stoke holds for those fires. And you would boil the juice.
What would the work have been like for the people who worked here?
Well, it would have been pretty arduous. I mean, really difficult work, back-breaking work for the slaves who supplied the canes, and they packed them on the backs of donkeys, brought them in and fed them into the mill. They would work from morning into the fields until way into the evening hours. And during the boiling process, however long that took, the slaves were required to be there.
Would this have been just the men?
Men and women, and the children as well.
And the children?
Of course, yeah.
Stuart and Charlie, meanwhile, are somewhere over here on the hunt for the slave village. David Small has decided to go and find them to see how they're getting on, but it's not long before David's lost.
Okay, you have to give me at least 10 minutes to come back to a point where I can probably shout and give you a direction, so bear with me.
All right, thanks a lot, Stuart.
At least Albert's having a nice day. He even thinks he recognises some of the pottery.
So you were using this at the dinner table in the 1920s?
In the 1920s,
That's a really old piece.
Oh, yes.
You were using antiques at the dinner table.
That's right, but it was a good piece of antique work.
Yes.
What about that then?
Oh.
It says Wedgwood.
You're not having me on, that says Wedgwood.
Same date though?
I think so, yeah.
They lived in great
1830s, 1840s.
Jolly good.
See the wall? See how substantial it is here?
Oh. Stuart and Charlie found the wall that ran along the edge of the old road out of Montravers.
Downslope side here, I think, actually.
Following this has led them to the junction with another road that should take them to the ward's property line and the location of the slave village.
The road that you've been following. You can see it's actually bang on the north-south axis with a compass. That's what you've come along. Once we're at the junction, the road that we're expecting to make a junction with is at 300 degrees, and that's the direction that wall goes off.
Right,
almost exactly.
right.
And the road this way, which is the way to the slave quarters, is going off at about 120, 130 degrees.
Right.
Which is where Charlie's cutting now, so keep going. Charlie! Where are you, mate?
I'm over here.
Where's here?
It's exhausting work, but Stuart and Charlie are making new discoveries all the time.
Up here you can see where the ravine comes down the slope.
Right.
It's a deep ravine, would have flooded at certain times of year. This is where the road actually crosses it.
Right.
And you can see all these stones in here. These are all stones to pack the surface of the road.
The road crosses the ravine about here, which means that Charlie and Stuart have cut their way through a lot of jungle today and must do at least the same again if they're to find the location of the slave village tomorrow. End of day 2, and this is a first for Time Team. We're drinking water because we're so totally dehydrated. How have we done here? We've got a lot of pottery, but it's not Pinney pottery.
It's centering around the 1830s, 1840s, I'm afraid, but hope for the future maybe. We've got one small clay tobacco pipe bowl, which almost certainly dates to about 1700. And a nice piece of slipware here, press moulded slipware, which could just be 18th century, 1750, 1780.
But there's still plenty more to come from here.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there is, yeah.
And how about the slavers' camp? You're looking particularly wiped out.
Oh, it's pretty hard work up there. We've managed to find one of the boundaries mentioned in the Pinney papers to the slave village. And we've got one more boundary to find, hopefully tomorrow. When we've got that, we'll have the area of the slave village defined, but there's a lot of work to do. We're getting to the point of no return. It's pretty thick up there.
And Phil, you've been swanning around in St Kitts all night.
I've been swanning around anywhere. I've been working just as hard as you lot, I'll tell you. And after what I've done, I have great respect for anybody who had to work here, even in this current century. It's damned hard work. We're trying to make sugar, and there's the end result. That's our cane juice. It's good, isn't it? Yeah.
It's lovely. What are you going to do with it now?
Well, we boil it down, and lo and behold, we'll give you sugar tomorrow.
So, lots to do tomorrow. All up at 5 again tomorrow. It's not all just fun in the Caribbean, you know. It's the beginning of day 3. There were long arguments late into the night last night. The problem is the insects, the heat, the jungle, the long hours. Basically, we're overstretching ourselves, so we've decided to shut down the sugar mill site because we've achieved what we set out to. We've found the thing, and we're going to concentrate more on sorting out Mount Travers, which is what Mick and the others are finalising now.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, we're going to stick to the Pinney connection, and particularly the relationship with the slaves, which is really, I think, what David would particularly like to know about, isn't it? We're going to continue to survey the building. Bernard's already doing that. We think we can learn a lot from the layout of the building, the orientation of the various bits of it, thicknesses of walls and so on. We may be able to work out a sequence of construction from that. We need to do quite a lot of clearance around it to get at that. We're also going to try a technique that's been very useful in North America working in woodland, which is called shovel pitting, where you take little holes in the woods and just see what finds there are in there. We can plot all those at the same time. That might give us where the Pinney dumps of pottery are or other areas of activity.
In short, what's in front of us is another hard day doing battle with the jungle.
You're just about ready then?
Stuart and Charlie will continue their search for the slave village. Winston and his team of cutters will aim to clear as much of the overgrowth from around the ruins here at Mount Travers as possible. In particular, we want to do a major clearance job on this area because Carenza now thinks that this could have been the location of the slave jail.
Barney, we thought we'd shut this trench down. Is that a good idea?
I think it'd be a bit premature, Mick.
Bit premature?
Yeah, we've got some good stuff coming up here, actually.
Well, I'm easy to convince about it because it strikes me as a very useful hole, this, you know, within the original hole in the floor.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, we're now down well below the level of the basement construction.
Right.
And we're still finding archaeology.
Yeah.
And we've got pottery here, which I have flashed in front of David's eyes.
Yeah.
And he's happy for that to be
Oh.
18th century. Mind you, he's also happy for it to be 19th.
Yeah, but there's no blue and white, is there?
There's none at all, no blue
Ah.
and white whatsoever. So we have a different profile of material, which is quite encouraging.
Well, that's all good, isn't it? I mean, rather than shut it down, we actually should extend it, I think. I mean, we could take another metre out that way, couldn't we?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Well, hopefully, Trench 2 will produce some pottery from the 1700s to help us establish the early history of this building. We did find a clay pipe bowl yesterday, which we think dates to the 1700s. And once Victor's sketch is finished, we plan to email the drawing to Britain and get a more accurate date.
Looked at the
But
material.
most of the pottery so far has come from one period, the 1840s. And Peter Bellamy, one of the digging team, has come up with a theory to explain this.
In 1843, there was a big earthquake.
That would make such sense, wouldn't it?
So what we've got is the earthquake, all this pottery being smashed, tumbling to the ground, and then they just cleared it all out and levelled it across the site.
Absolutely, this is not material that's built up over a period of time. It has gone into the ground on one occasion. And 1843, what a date. I mean, that's more than a coincidence.
It's certainly a good theory about why we're finding so much pottery and glassware from the same period in Trench 1. Clearing away the overgrowth from around the ruins is certainly making it much easier to get a better understanding of the buildings themselves.
So how does that fit with what's going on down below?
Well, if you look down below, you can see there's more of those round-headed arches.
Oh, yeah.
Openings that are blocked that go with the counting house again, because they're that same round-headed style.
You can see this bit's added on.
There's
here.
all this
is a gap.
refacing, yeah, which is about to come off again. And then there's a similar round-headed opening under here that matches the other one. So the likelihood is that, you know, this build here goes with the building of the counting house, and that this is the earlier plinth, you know, from here that way.
Down by the beach, Phil's managed to organise things so that he can carry on with his sugar-making experiment in the shade.
Well, there's our juice, and it still looks good from yesterday, Theodore. What are we going to do with it to make sugar?
Are we going to boil it?
Boil it?
Yes, so you
just
throw it in here.
Pour it straight in there.
Next, we have to mix some lime with water.
How'd you learn all this? Where'd you get it from? Where'd you find you get all this wonderful knowledge?
Well, my grandparents used to do this.
grandparents?
Yes,
Well, actually in the sugar industry?
that's right.
And have you made sugar before?
No, but I watched them make it.
So this is your first time then?
This is my first time.
So what's this lime for then?
The lime is to crystallize it.
But to actually make the little individual granules form?
That's right. And this first part we call the clarifier.
Which is to actually, what's that, to get all the impurities out of the juice?
That's right.
Once the lime is added to the cane juice, it's a question of boiling up the mixture several times. After an hour or so of boiling, a scum collects on the surface, and this has to be skimmed off, or strained off in our case. The mixture is then transferred to another pot, and the same process is repeated again.
Do it to David Small.
Hello, Stuart. How are you getting on?
Oh, we're getting on pretty well at the moment, actually. We've cut our way up the Travers road, and we're pretty close now towards boundary. And I just wondered if you could give me some information to help me.
As far as David Small's concerned, Stuart's mission to find the site of the slave village is our most important goal, because so little is known about the lives of the slaves who worked on this plantation. Back in England, in the basement of Bristol University Library, our historian Robin Bush has been searching the Pinney documents for even the slightest reference to the slaves.
Hi, is that you, Tony?
Yes, it is. Hi.
And I suppose the weather's still dreadful out there.
No, it's really, really hot.
Oh, grief.
And Stuart's gone out into the jungle to look for a slave encampment. Have you, from your end, got any clues about what this encampment was and where it might be?
Tantalisingly, the maps are missing from the collection that would, enable us to locate it exactly. But I do have a quote from 1794 where he says, "I would by no means have the Negro houses removed to any other piece of land, but continued where they are, and be built at proper distances in right lines to prevent accidents from fire and to afford each Negro a proportion of ground round his house." But they are tantalising, they are passing references, and I think if you're going to push this thing on through the 3 days successfully, we've got to try and find the slave village. Anything archaeological that turns up is going to be a plus. It's going to advance, our knowledge of the slave situation on Nevis. And so I can only, wish you luck in wielding your respective trowels.
Well, likewise, it's not so much the trowels, mate, it's the machetes at the moment.
Oh, right. Is that bad, is it?
In the overgrowth close to Montravers, we've started shovel pitting, as Mick calls it. This effectively means digging small test pits and recording what we find there. Once again, it's hard work in these conditions, but already we're adding to our information about the site.
Okay, Winston, what we've got is a wall running that way. We've stood on this plateau with cut stone, so it looks like the estate's still going in that general direction.
Don't dig down if you can help it. Try and keep it at the same level that you're standing on. I know the ground's very soft. Okay.
Mick?
Yeah? Thanks.
What are you doing, stripping Nevis?
Yeah, I'm trying to. No, what I'm doing is I've been excavating inside, but it's that dark I can't really see.
Yeah.
And I found 1840s pottery in there. But lower down I found some earlier pottery, which
Right.
seems to predate this building.
Ah.
So what I'm doing is actually dig here in front of the doorway. But to do that, I've got to move all this demolition rubble here.
Well, have we done this, have we?
No, this is hurricane damage and and earthquake damage. Even I couldn't do that.
Stuart to Mick, Tony.
Yeah, Stuart, both of us are here listening.
Mick, good news, mate. We've found both the boundaries that were mentioned in the Pinney papers.
Oh.
The Ward's boundary and the Scarborough's boundary. So now I know where the slave area is. At least we know where we are now.
Fantastic news. Now time for a well-earned rest and a chance to get out of the sun.
This is great, Victor. David, why do you expect what we find in the jungle to be the remnants of something like this?
We know a number of things about how Pinney wanted his slave village organised. He wanted it regular. We know the houses were thatched. And one of his partners describes slave housing as being wattle and daub walls with a raised bed
inside. Stuart, we do seem to be in the right area. Does it look anything like this now?
No, I wish it did. It's absolutely covered in brush. But with a bit of help, a bit of clearing, I think what we could do is just cut enough lines through to just walk over it, walk wherever we can get to, and just see if there's anything on the ground at all, any scatters of pottery or any piles of stones that you mentioned.
Have you come across any lemon or lime trees yet?
We haven't seen any at the moment, but if I see it, I recognize what it looks like.
Is it really as tough as Stuart's been saying?
Yes, it's. He's telling the truth. Yes.
He's not exaggerating.
No, he's not exaggerating.
Phil.
David Rollinson will help with the hunt for the slave village this afternoon, once he's checked on how the sugar-making experiment's going.
And I guess what we've been doing when you've been boiling it is driving off all that excess moisture.
Well, we've been noticing it get a lot thicker. Yeah. I mean, you want to put some of that in there?
Hopefully it won't crack the glass,
well,
but just put a drop in there.
Down a little bit, yeah. Oh, you can see it. Look at the way it sticks to the side of the glass.
Look at the change in viscosity.
Yeah.
Now, Pinney was very specific about making sure that it was absolutely ready to go into the cooling vats. And I think there was a Pinney letter where he said that his sugar boiler was the most important man on the estate.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And what he had to do is, well, that's hot, is put their finger and thumb in, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing people do this when they were, you see, you have to get this thread, see? Now, if the thread gets to be about 3/8 or half an inch long, then it was ready. Then they would take that very thick syrup, very hot syrup, and pour it into wooden trays. It would sit in there for about 24 hours. And while it was sitting there, you'd have to rake it, because if you didn't, this stuff would just set like concrete.
Right.
And as it cooled, the sugar crystals form.
How much do you want to put in?
Well, put all of it in.
All of it?
Yeah, spread it along the bottom.
So what's happening, or what's going to be happening?
Well, what's going to happen now is that as this liquid, this thick liquid cools, it's going to crystallize. It's going to form sugar crystals.
But actually in there?
Yeah, in the tray. Now, the other thing that's going to happen is that we would never get all of this liquid to form sugar crystals.
Right.
There'll always be some liquid left, and that becomes molasses.
And you can pour that off?
You drain. Well, what they would do up at Montravers, they would put the sugar crystals and the molasses in a barrel, and they'd let the molasses drip out of the barrel.
Right.
But it wasn't wasted.
What would you do with it then?
Well, you could ferment that and make rum out of it.
Ah, now we're talking.
At our incident room in Charlestown, we've just received an answer to the email we sent to England. This pipe bowl, we're told, is Dutch and was made between 1700 and 1720, which makes it our earliest find. Until just now.
Wow.
Oh, it's one of those things, what do you call it?
Bellarmines.
Bellarmines, yeah. Oh, that is a face, isn't it?
Lovely. Look at that.
There you go.
And who was Bellarmine?
He was a hell-raising cardinal during the 16th century. Typically, this type of ware has these huge, hairy, bearded face masks on them. And,
I don't know, there's something always nice and fun about finding one, isn't there?
What's the date? 17th century?
this looks 17th century to me. I tell you what, though, it's a big devil.
It is,
It's
isn't it?
huge.
Well, have a look at some of the other stuff we've got.
This is great because what we're finding is information about the early history of this site, and this trench confirms that there's been a building on or close to the spot since at least the late 1600s.
Well, you see, you've skirted round the really important piece. Look at that. That, I can tell you, is definitely an English gunflint.
How on earth do you know that?
Well, for a start, it's flat on one side, domed on the other side, and trimmed right the way round. It's a style of flint knapping, or of gunflints we call wedge technique. Now, that type of gunflint is going to be made in the south of England, anywhere from Wiltshire through to Kent. Again, maybe 17th, 18th century.
More good news in Trench 3 in the area Carenza had cleared this morning, because it appears we found the remains of another building.
We are really, really excited though, and we've actually found the so-called slave dungeon.
Well, it looks like just piles of rubble to me. I mean,
Yeah, do you know why it's piles of rubble?
No, go on, tell me.
The site was dynamited.
Ah, yeah, that would explain the big blocks, wouldn't it?
What's happened, this wall, all of this block here, it's a collapsed wall that would have been standing upright, and this is the window here. We've got the straight, or door, straight edge of it here, coming up like this, another line of it here, starting to curve here. See one of the wedge-shaped stones going around the arch.
So the arch would have been across the top here then?
Well, yeah, it's quite tight, curving down
Right.
back like this. So
Well, that's an incredible piece of archaeology, isn't it? Because it's not very often we find something that's actually fallen over like that and he's face down. Yeah.
But what's great is the shape of the window is so diagnostic, we can be really confident that this is where that building that was called the Slave Dungeon is.
Right.
The other really exciting thing we found is over here, look. This bit here, look, is this. This is a bit of, see the curve on that?
Yeah.
That's barrel vaulting. You
Yeah,
know, in the photograph, the roof's sort of pitched like that.
Yeah.
That's just the front, David reckons, and it was actually barrel vaulted for hurricane protection, David?
Yeah,
is that?
hurricane and earthquake, and so that barrel-shaped roof was a lot stronger.
Carenza's starting to think this building was a hurricane shelter and not a jail.
Why have a slave dungeon near your house? We couldn't understand that. That's why we were sort of thinking it might be further away. But, you know, you want a hurricane shelter near your house.
Everyone's convinced that we've found the building photographed in the early 1900s, but as David Small has pointed out, we don't know for sure that it wasn't used as a slave jail. Mick? Mick?
Yeah, Tone?
You've been like a hermit since you found that hole, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm having a great time, Tony.
What's it been like in there?
It's been hard work. I'm sort of sitting here, the sun's shining straight through here. It's just been like an oven. It's been like being in a big bread oven, absolutely cooked.
But have you got a story for us?
I've got a really nice story. I've got a flat terracing down here with one piece of pottery sitting on it, which sort of dates it to about 1750.
Pinney time.
Pinney time. So I've got a terrace where Pinney's working. I've got some kind of build up on that, and then they've come along and built this building on here.
Later on,
about 1785. And then after that, I've got a resurfacing of all these areas here with a nice cobbled area out there and tiles in here, which is going in sometime after 1830. It's beautiful. It's lovely.
Well, it's 5:20. You haven't got long before we lose the sun.
It's a good race. We'll beat it.
Just enough time for Stuart to see how much jungle he's had to cut through so far, as Charlie and the other volunteers wave to indicate the area where we believe the slave village to be. We now just have to search this area to find it. In the meantime, Victor has produced several reconstructions of the buildings here at Montravers. Firstly, as it looked according to Albert Powell, who lived here in the 1920s. Going back in time, this is how we think it looked around 1790, just after Pinney had built the counting house. And lastly, when there are only wooden buildings here, as it must have looked to Pinney when he first arrived from England in 1764. John Prater Pinney's last visit to Nevis was in 1794, after which time he stayed in Bristol and controlled the running of his estate by letter. He sold Montravers in 1808. Like many other Englishmen who made their fortunes in the Caribbean, he built himself a nice new house in one of the fashionable areas of Bristol and continued to add to his fortune by dealing with other sugar plantations until his death in 1818. Well, in the last few hours, we just about managed to sort out this site, and I never thought that we would. Albert, in addition to that, Victor has managed to produce this drawing for you.
I hope that reminds you of your old
Oh,
house.
splendid. This is wonderful. Really wonderful.
Phil, what about your sugar?
Well, I don't know, actually. This is the first time I've had the chance to try it myself.
They're much like sugar to me.
Oh, it's revolting.
Well, it's
Oh,
not
God.
No, look, it's not as bad as it was. This is an improvement. It is halfway there.
Well, at least the rum's good. Did you make that?
Well, no, actually, I didn't.
Where did it come from?
It come from a shop down the road. I mean.
The one thing that I am disappointed that we haven't managed to do is to completely find the location of Stuart's slave village. But as we said at the beginning of the programme, we're not just here for 3 days, we're here for 6, so we're going to carry on looking for that in the next programme. And you may have wondered where Geophysics have been. Well, I was wondering that too. But you've been looking for Jamestown, haven't you, which was the very first settlement that the colonists landed at. How have you done?
Well, look for yourself. We've done it in Caribbean colours for you. And here you are, rectangular anomalies.
Rectangular anomalies. That's what we'll be looking for in the next show. And in addition to that, we'll be trying to find traces of the very first settlers, the Amerindians, who were here 1,000 years before the British got here. Join us for the next programme. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Join Time Team on Patreon to access exclusive 3D models, masterclasses and behind-the-scenes insights.